Hi, I'm Chris Clark. Welcome back to my channel. Today my video is a little different than my usual homeschool motherhood content that will be featured here, but I wanted to share my 100-pound weight loss journey with you all. I have lost 100 pounds after having 5 kids. I lost the weight over 4 years, and it had nothing to do with cutting carbs or extreme workouts or eliminating entire food groups. It had nothing to do with really any of the things I thought it would have to do with, and it actually turned out to be really simple. It wasn't easy, but it was simple, so I want to share that with you all today. I struggled with my weight through most of my 20s. I got married at 19. We started having kids right away. And so through most of my 20s and my early 30s, I was pregnant or nursing or having a newborn. And with my first pregnancy, I was a healthy pre-pregnancy weight. I weighed around 130 pounds and I gained about 15-20 pounds with that pregnancy. And I lost most of that, but not all of it. But with my next 4 pregnancies, it was a completely different story. I gained a lot more weight with each pregnancy. I averaged like 45 to even 60 pounds per pregnancy, and I would lose most of that weight, but not all of it. So I might lose 30 to 40 pounds. So each pregnancy I was starting at a higher weight, and then I wasn't losing all of it. So by the end of it, I was 100 pounds overweight. And when I finally decided that I needed to make a change, I weighed in at about 235 pounds. I think at different points I actually weighed more than that, but I'm not sure. I don't know. So when I decided, okay, I'm finally going to show up for myself, I weighed 235 and I was wearing a size 18-20 in women's or like a 2X. And now I've lost 100 pounds. I weigh 135. I wear a women's 6 or 8, kind of depending if you, or I don't know. It's crazy to me, just a little side note. I have jeans from size 2, which I am not a size 2, all the way to size 8, and they all fit, and I'm like, what is going on? Women's sizing and vanity sizing and all the things, it's really frustrating. But anyways, that's a video for another day. A big part of the reason that I gained so much weight, I think, is a lack of understanding when it came to nutrition and a unhealthy relationship with food. I had been an athletic teen who could seemingly eat whatever I wanted, but those habits really caught up with me, and even though I stayed active through my pregnancies and through motherhood, I was nowhere near as active as I was before, and I really had no idea how much I was eating. Let's talk about what didn't work. I tried like everything, it felt like. I tried restricting. I tried cutting out entire food groups. I tried keto. I tried working out more. I tried probably every fad diet that is out there, and I tried reverse dieting, everything, and none of it worked for me. None of it worked long term, I should say. I did a lot of losing a little bit and then gaining it all back and then some. But nothing felt sustainable and nothing really clicked or worked. But what I learned for me is that there was no quick fixes. I think I was always chasing a quick fix instead of a true lifestyle change. And so it never worked. But let's talk about what actually did work. And that was, like I just mentioned, a true lifestyle change. That's what finally worked for me. Honestly, just simple math. So weight loss is pretty simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. Calories in versus calories out. If you eat more calories or you take in more than your body can burn off, your body won't have anything to do with that energy that's in the food that you're eating, and it will decide to store it in fat cells. That's just what our body does. When it has nowhere to put it, it puts it in fat cells. And so obviously that's what was happening to me. And while that's simple, eat less, move more, right? Pretty easy to understand. You have to really understand nutrition to know if you really are eating less. That's an area that I was struggling in. But also, I didn't want to just lose weight overall. I didn't want to just lose mass. I wanted to specifically lose fat, and I wanted to maintain strength. I wanted to maintain lean muscle. I had no idea how to do that, and so I started doing a lot of research. So phase 1, I started making really small changes that felt sustainable. I actually took a few courses on Udemy about nutrition and exercise science because I felt like I had no idea what I was doing. Couldn't really afford like a coach or something or a nutritionist. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to learn as much as I can and I'll be my own coach. So I started learning about nutrition and I started focusing on what I could add in instead of taking things away. And I think that is the biggest like aha moment. And the thing that set me up for success is that I was focusing on what I could add in instead of what I could take out. So this meant more protein, more fruits, more vegetables, which meant more fiber, instead of cutting anything out. So all foods were still allowed, nothing was off limits, but I prioritized the things that would really fuel my body, which left less space for the things that didn't really help me. So at that time, I was lifting weights and I was still nursing. So I was aiming for what I thought was around 2,300 calories, but I still wasn't tracking my food or weighing my portions or anything like that. And aside from the weightlifting, I tried to add in more movement. This meant just like evening walks with my kids, playing with my kids, tennis with my husband, trying new workout videos. And so over about 2 years of doing that, I lost about 50 pounds. So then I kind of got stuck. I plateaued, I was doing all of the same things, and I decided to start running again. I used to run and I really enjoyed it. So I thought, hey, I'm a little lighter now, maybe my joints can handle it. And I was worried that it was going to be kind of horrible. So I mentioned it to my husband and he decided to join me. He started with literally a quarter mile. Like that's all I could do. And that was hard. And it took a long time for my cardio to improve actually. So I was lifting weights and I was running, but nothing was really changing. Like my weight wasn't really changing. The biggest turning point came from advice from my dad, actually. He, over about like a decade ago, lost 150 pounds from diet and exercise. Super proud of you, Dad. And he told me, when I explained to him what was going on, he told me to get a kitchen scale and to actually weigh my food and track it in an app. So I use a tracker called My Net Diary. I really like it. People use like MyFitnessPal. There's a million of them out there, but I like My Net Diary. So anyways, he said that the goal wasn't to change anything at this point. It was just to get an honest baseline. So just track everything and find out exactly what I'm working with. Can I tell you, I was so shocked. Even eating what I thought was healthy, I was eating 2,500 to 3,000 calories a day. No wonder I was stuck. No wonder the scale wasn't budging. No wonder my jeans were still tight. Like, and before like I even made healthy changes, I was probably easily eating 4,000 calories a day. Like, no wonder I gained so much weight. This is also where my next favorite little takeaway comes from, which is to make your calories count. So not all calories feel the same, and tracking and really understanding what a calorie is really helped me with that. Making my calories count for me looks like sometimes a homemade cookie is worth it, is worth the calories, but a store-bought, dry, crumbly cookie, not really worth it to me. I'm not going to put that in. A protein-packed meal with healthy fats, while it might be higher in calories, is filling and energizing, so that's worth it to me. A fried version of the same meal, which has the same calories but leaves me sluggish, is not going to be worth it to me. Tracking gave me the awareness to actually see the difference. And I started thinking in terms of payoff. So low calorie isn't always the best option. Like, yes, when you're in a fat loss phase, obviously you're going to gravitate towards lower calorie, higher volume foods. But sometimes higher calories for nutrient density pays off, but not usually higher calorie for low nutrients, if that makes sense. Then we get to phase 2, sustainable weight loss. So I created a small calorie deficit, about 150 to 250 calories a day. This was nothing extreme. It was very sustainable and very like easy on my immune system and just like my overall sanity, because being in a deficit can be really hard. Over about the next year and a half, I lost the next 50 pounds. I kept lifting weights consistently and I started running more. Fitness now, I lift weights 4 times a week. 2 upper body sessions, 2 lower body sessions, and I run 3 times a week. Actually, last November, I ran a half marathon. Did I love it? No, absolutely not. I actually hate running long distances, I found out. But I did it, and I'm proud of myself. And I found out that I do enjoy shorter runs. I enjoyed speed work and sprint workouts, and moving in ways that feel good. So that's been a huge shift too, is like finding what I actually enjoy and what I can keep up with. During my deficit, I never went below 1,700 calories. And this was after I was done nursing. If I had been nursing, I would have kept my calories higher than that. I kept protein high, about a gram of protein per pound of body weight, and I made sure that I had enough fat for hormone support, which would be, at the time I was aiming for about 50 grams of fat, and then I filled in the rest of my calories with carbs. Now I'm in maintenance. I've been in maintenance since November, well, maybe December. And I'm sitting at around 2,000 to 2,300 calories a day, depending on my activity level for that day. Like if I have a long run, I will have a more carb heavy and higher calorie day. My macros land somewhere around 135 grams of protein, 70 grams of fat, and about 200 grams of carbohydrates, like averaged out over the days. Obviously this flexes, and I just use these as sort of like goals and markers, but it's not perfect. But I find consistency wins out over perfection, because perfection doesn't even exist. So I just try to stay consistent and get as close to these numbers as I can each day. So I found that my energy is a lot more stable. I rely way less on caffeine. I'm in a better mood, and I feel more energized throughout the day. So what I eat in a day, I keep my meals really simple, and I repeat a lot of foods. So I start my day with protein, and I usually have a protein bar or a protein shake. I would much rather have like a full-on meal, but it just doesn't fit into my lifestyle. So I like to get protein, at least 25 grams first thing in the morning, and that's the easiest way for me to do it. And then after my workout, I'll have a real breakfast with eggs, protein, carbs, and lunch is usually something easy like a wrap or a sandwich, salad or leftovers, just whatever we have in the fridge. And then dinner is usually my heaviest meal or my biggest meal, and it has protein and a lot of veggies. And then I have snacks depending on my hunger throughout the day, maybe after dinner, maybe a little before dinner, fruit and yogurt or oatmeal, things like that. And I'll do an in-depth video on like what I actually eat and the breakdown of the calories and the macros, so look out for a video if you're interested in that. And one small habit that made a huge difference for me was to stop drinking my calories. So I used to drink a lot of milk and juice and sugary tea, sugary coffee, lots of creamer in my coffee. And so I don't do that anymore. I drink mostly water and black coffee. Sometimes I sweeten it with stevia and unsweet tea. And so that alone made a big difference. I was never an alcohol drinker, but if that's an easy thing, or even soda, I don't like carbonated things, but those two, like alcohol or soda, are a huge thing you could cut out also and save yourself a lot of calories. I always heard that weight loss was 80% nutrition, 20% fitness, and for me, that was completely true. I eat to stay lean and fuel my body, and then I work out for strength, energy, to feel good, never to burn off food. So that was a huge mental shift for me. And this has completely changed my life. Like, I wish I did this years ago, but it doesn't matter. I did it now, and that's what's important. But I have more energy. I feel stronger. I can actually be active with my kids, running and playing and just being present in ways that I couldn't before. And again, like I said at the beginning of the video, this took me 4 years, right? So those 4 years, they were going to pass either way. So I just wanted to encourage, if you're on a journey or you're thinking about starting, don't let like the timeline and how long it takes stop you, because again, the time is going to pass either way. And another big shift that I made was letting go of perfection. I touched on this earlier, but consistency beats perfection every time. I don't cut out foods. I use more of an 80-20 approach in another way, like 80% healthy fuel for my body, 20% fuel for my soul type foods. So I don't track on holidays or birthdays. I have no guilt, no trying to burn it off or do extra. I just go back to normal the next day, and the consistency keeps me on track. The last thing that I'm going to touch on is actually loose skin. This is a question that I get a lot, and I see it a lot in like weight loss content. People are asking about it. Okay, so for me, I don't have significant loose skin, and I'm grateful for that. But my stomach is definitely not like as tight as the rest of my body, but it's okay. So when I'm standing, it isn't noticeable, but if I sit or I bend, like you can tell. I also have stretch marks from my pregnancies. I think genetics actually play a big role in that, because I got them with my first pregnancy without significant weight gain. But, you know, they've faded over time, and they're not red anymore, and they don't bother me. And I think it's just part of my story. I brought 5 humans into this world, and so no, my body is not the same. but that's okay. I think what helped my skin rebound the way that it did was losing the weight as slowly as I did, staying hydrated. I do take a collagen supplement. I think that has very minor benefits, and lifting weights honestly does help. So I would take my skin not being as tight as it could be over the extra weight any day though. So getting fit has completely changed my life, and I am so grateful that I stuck with it, that I showed up for myself, and that I'm here today. And if you have goals, go for it. It is worth it. And if you have any questions, any specific questions about what I did or anything like that, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to answer them. Thanks for being here. Until next time.